Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Rose Code podcast, where we gather to journey through the sacred cycles of life, turning pain into power and wounds into wisdom. I'm Katie, your spiritual guide and mentor, here to support you on your healing and wellness path. Together, we'll explore deep, transformative practices that awaken the divine feminine, helping you reclaim your power and thrive. Every month, we come together for our live moon ritual, celebrating the new and full moon with sacred ceremonies. Be sure to check the details below to join next month's ritual and immerse yourself in yoga, meditation, divine feminine activations, and our vibrant community calls. Let's dive in and transform together. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to this full moon in Aries cacao ceremony and ritual. And it is a real pinch me moment here in the Bahamas, waiting to go to facilitate a retreat with my dear sister, Michelle. And it really just goes to show when you plant these seeds, even though they may seem completely out there or so out of reach at the moment, they do come to fruition if you water them, if you nurture them, if you take the necessary steps towards building them. And it happens. It really, really does happen. And if it can happen for me, it can happen for you too. And we all have our own dreams and aspirations and what we want our life to look like. So, with this Aries full moon, it's an incredible time to gain clarity because the Aries is represented by the head of the ram. So it's very determined. It puts its head down. It moves forward. It's not afraid of challenge. It's very, very strong mentally and also physically. So when you're reaching for your dreams and desires, you really need to dig deep for that strength. And you really need to dig deep for the courage to say, yes, one day I will be doing X, Y, and Z, or I am in the process of. Um, because so many of us hold back because we're afraid of failing, afraid of looking silly, afraid of judgment. And if that's the worst that can happen, so be it. So be it. It's really just allowing yourself to show up vulnerably in the world. And that's one thing that changed the trajectory of my life is being okay with vulnerability, being okay with being seen. And as an introvert, it's like your worst nightmare putting yourself out there. But if it's what you want in life, you have to put yourself out there, whether you're an introvert, whether you're an extrovert, whether you're shy or confident. It is about putting yourself in the positions that are most aligned with your dreams and desires. And some of you might be saying, but I don't know what my dreams or desires are. And if you haven't pinpointed those dreams and desires, the universe is getting mixed messages. The universe doesn't know whether to bring this opportunity in or this opportunity because you're not being clear. You're not being concise in, yes, I want this or something better. And that's like my favorite thing in the whole world. It's like, well, this is what my mind can conjure up at the moment. But, if there's something better than that, yeah, absolutely bring that into my life. So thank goodness the eclipse portal is closing. It will close after this full moon, and it's closing a massive chapter. It's closing a lot of chaos, it's closing a lot of drama, and it's really, really, really wiping the slate clean. So when I was tuning into the energy of this ceremony and ritual, what was coming up was clearing karma. When we face our karma, when we shower it in love, that's when we shift into our dharma. So you have to look at your karma to move into your dharma. And what dharma means is life purpose, soul mission, what you came here to do and to fulfill and to be. And so many of us are stuck in this perpetual cycle of karma because we're not deciding that I have enough. This needs to end. What am I not facing? What am I not accepting? What am I not forgiving? So, in our meditation at the end, we are going to invoke the violet flame, and I'll explain more of that later on. And we're also going to move into some forgiveness prayers. And forgiveness is like the ultimate alchemy. When you forgive yourself or somebody else, you are not condoning behavior. You're not saying it's right or wrong, but you're saying, yes, I acknowledge that this experience has happened, but I am no longer allowing this experience to take over my life. And I'm letting you go in love. So, what happens then is you sever those cords and ties and attachments because it was really interesting. I had an experience lately, and it really, really, really triggered me. And I was like, oh, there's a lot there still to be forgiven. Forgiven on my part, forgiven of the other person's part. Because when we are triggered, this trauma and this unhealed aspect of ourselves is being activated. And that takes a lot of energy. So you're doing all your meditation, you're doing all your gratitude, you're journaling, you're showing up every day, and then boom, somebody comes along and presses that button. It's not their fault. It's actually reflecting back to you the work that still needs to be done. So if we can embody this Aries energy and really be focused and headstrong in that, yes, I'm going to move forward. And yes, I'm going to face any challenges or resistance, not with force, but with love, because love is the highest vibration. And I know that can sound super cheesy and, you know, you hear it 100 times, but honestly, it is the truth. And when I started to look at things from the place of love, my heart, and not my mind, again, that's when things really began to move, to shift, to flow, to open, because I was very focused on the mental aspect and trying to figure things out rather than just coming from the heart space. So again, when I made that shift in perspective, that's when everything changed. And I have shared a much more detailed write up of the energy forecast for the Aries full moon. So if you want to go back into the community, it'll be posted there. But I'm very, very excited for this full moon because it's very powerful. It peaks tomorrow, October 18th. And it's really going to highlight a new path. That's what I'm really, really excited about. I'm like, okay, I've done the work. I've experienced the eclipse like no other. So show me the way. Show me the path of least resistance. Show me the next door, the next path. And yes, I truly believe that is available for all of us. So instead of fearing the unknown, instead of fearing the future, get excited. Get really, really excited. Be like, my best days are yet to come. So with that said, let me tune into the cards and see what is here for us. So if you have any requests, anything that you would like to gain clarity on, guidance, please bring that to your mind, to your heart, and project it out into the deck. Take a deep breath in and exhale, let it go. So let's just see what messages want to come through. And this is Work Your Light Oracle by Rebecca Campbell, a real favorite of mine. Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. So the first card that came out is birthing a new age, birthing new creation, dreaming a new world into being. So there's not much around her, just a few stones, just a circle, just a few essentials. So, you know, I've experienced myself and with my students and clients this year, a lot has been taken away. A lot of stuff, both stuff that they wanted to keep and stuff that they wanted to let go of. So a huge amount of shedding and releasing has taken place. And what happens with this is it creates space in which now the universe, so you can see her hands up and she's guiding that energy into this space that she's created. So she's laid the foundations. The rocks here are laying a symbolic reference to laying the foundation. So if you have honestly done the work this year, if you really dove into your healing journey, then you've laid the foundation. Then you've really cleared out the karma. And as many of you know, if you've done the work with me, you know what that means. It's not easy. So congratulations for even starting. But when we lay that strong foundation, even if it's on sand, those rocks are really solidifying that sandy, that kind of fragile, that non-existent foundation. Because so many of you have said, yeah, but I've tried this and I've tried that. Yeah, but have you actually gone deep down and unrooted, pulled up the weeds, and then replaced it with a much more sustainable foundation? And they're like, no. So that's what we start. We start from the ground up. Dreaming a new world into being. So, you know, I can only use myself as an example, but like this is what I've always wanted to do. And now it's happening. And it's like, wow, how can I keep this ball rolling? How can I keep moving in the direction? How can I keep dreaming new things into reality? And it's super exciting because once you manifest one thing, you're like, oh, I've done it. So you just continue to trust the process. And this is what the next card has to say. Leap, you go first, the universe will catch you. So it's really interesting because, and look, we have the full moon here illuminating the new path. She's leading with her heart. She's leaving the mind behind and the shadows. And you really do have to take the first step. Otherwise, the universe is like, no, she's not really serious about this. She wants to know the destination before she embarks on the journey. And that's not how it works. So you do have to dig deep for that courage, that ram strength, that Aries fiery energy. Like, do you know what? I'm just going to go for it. And, you know, you will make mistakes. That's okay. It's not meant to be perfect. You're meant to grow and evolve through the journey. And she has the power in her hands here. You can see in her hand the light. So you have the power to open that new door, that new opportunity. And also don't forget to look back at how far you've come in the last 5 years, in the last 10 years, because sometimes we're looking back on our progress this week, which might be really, really minimal or non-existent. So it's really important to take a look back, even look back on this year, the steps that you've taken to arrive here, and even showing up to this practice, what it's taken you to gift yourself that time and space to show up here. The next card then we have is align your life. What is not aligned or needs to change? So you can see here that the mirror has been broken. The reflection is blurred. And, you know, for me anyway, it was like, you know, alcohol and late nights were just no longer aligned in my life. And now they're just not a part of my life anymore. Yes, there's the occasional celebration here and there, but you know, it's just not aligned. So again, keep looking in. And I've had a conversation with a beautiful soul lately, and she was like, none of the things, I'm doing all the things that used to fulfill me, that used to make me happy, but they're no longer doing that. I'm like, great, that's a really, really strong sign that the old self is unrelatable and you're moving into this new era. And now it's time to really look outside of the box to things that really light you up. So sometimes that can feel very terrifying, but when you meet that terror barrier, that's when you know, oh, there's a breakthrough here. So look at your life. It could be diet, it could be social, it could be financial, it could be career, it could be love, it could be spirituality. You know, what doesn't light you up anymore? What feels resistant? What feels heavy? And whatever that is, begin to remove it from your life bit by bit. And then this card ties in very much with the last card, unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. So you can see her soaring. Again, another full moon here. But some of us are so attached to the stories because they're familiar. So when we unbound ourselves, that's when we create the ultimate freedom. And this is what this ritual today and the violet flame and the forgiveness, it's really severing those ties and cords in love. So what is weighing you down? What is causing the suffering? And when you identify that, remove it from your life and replace it with something better. And if you can't think of what to replace it with, just replace it with love. Replace it with self-compassion, kindness, and then just remain open to new things to coming into your life. Thank you for listening. If you're looking for more, don't forget to check out the Rose Code community in the description below.